Okay, lesbians, queer women, how would you personally feel if people assumed that you had been through serious traumatic relationships with women who were in the closet in the past and that you were actually choosing to get into another chaotic situation with someone who's in the closet, when that's not the truth? What if I told you that my girlfriend has been out for over 20 years, and we also have a bit of an age gap that adds another layer to our relationship? Today's episode, recorded from our bed, in our morning voices, super raw and super authentic, is especially personal because we're going to be diving into my girlfriend's coming out story. She's been living her truth for decades, but people are mistaking her privacy for secrecy, which she deserves. She deserves that privacy. But we are going to reveal that story and the age gap that everyone's been pretty curious about. And I would be too, because I am only attracted to older. And in my book, older is hotter. And I know a lot of you listening are also into the age gap relationship vibe, or just genuinely curious about it, which is okay. Maybe it's not for you, but you're interested in hearing how that works. So we're going to be talking about how privacy doesn't mean she's hiding. She's going to be getting into her own story in her own words, how we're handling public perceptions, and, a little bit of what it's like to be in a relationship with a significant age difference. It's going to be a juicy one. Buckle up. Sapphics and allies, you're listening to Queer Women Rising. That's women with an X because we are inclusive here. When we hear the stories of queer women who have gone before us, we see evidence that there's nothing we can't do. And yes, we can too. It's time for you to level up in life, in love, and step into your most authentic, abundant reality. You won't be the same after this episode. It's your turn to let go of good for greatness. Your best life is now loading. Let's rise. Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
My very first time with a woman, then I knew. As soon as I had sex with a woman, I was like, okay, this is why you thought there was something wrong with you, because you weren't having this.
Yeah.
And that was the world opened up for me then.
Were you nervous to have sex with a woman?
I don't remember being nervous. And I think it was so natural to me.
So it wasn't I remember you mentioning internalized homophobia, being I could never put my face there.
Yeah, there was no question. I wanted my face there.
I love it. I want my face there. Good morning, girlfriend.
Hi, baby.
It's a good morning. What do I say when I say it's a good morning? What do you say?
It's a very good morning.
It's a really good morning. We have,
just to quote Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, a lot of that in common. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you'll be like, what? Anyway, good morning. We're back recording another podcast episode in our morning voices. And today we've got a bowl of fruit in bed with us because we've been having way too much fun this morning and haven't gotten out of bed. And it's almost 12, so we're hungry.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So now we're eating. I was like, well, we want to record the podcast. So we're going to be snacking. And I've got blueberries and grapes and grape tomatoes.
Yeah. They're good, though.
The Italian way. Okay. So right now, there are people out there. I mean, this isn't a podcast episode to answer them, but I thought it would be a really good topic because I know there's a lot of people out there who are going through what I went through a few years ago, where I left a man to be gay, which I was always gay, but to be out. Mm-hmm. And I know that you've been out for a long time But there are actually people out there commenting, like leaving comments that say your girlfriend's in the closet, or like it's a red flag. Like you're in the closet because they don't put your face on social media.
Right.
So I thought sharing your coming out story would be really good. Not just only to answer that, because I mean, who cares what anyone thinks, but there are people out there who are probably just coming out, and like it will help them. Yeah? Would you share?
No, for sure.
Okay, so how long have you been out of the closet?
28 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That makes you so much older than me. How hot is that? Okay, there's always going to be people who ask, even though we say it. I'd rather just answer it again so no one's confused. How big is our age gap?
17 years. I'm 49.
So hot. Okay, so you came out how many years ago?
When I was 21.
21, okay. So you've been out and proud for a really long time. When you came out, were you like out, or were you just out to yourself?
No, when I came out, do you want me to tell the whole story?
Yeah, let's start at the very beginning.
The very beginning? I was like...
Okay, so growing up, was being gay like a bad thing?
Yeah, so my family's Italian, so obviously you know how it is too, a Catholic Italian. Definitely not acceptable to be gay. And I always wanted to have kids. Like I wanted to have kids as soon as I knew that was even possible for a woman to have kids. That's what I wanted to do. So I was raised to think that I had to get married so that I could have kids.
That makes sense.
It was just
I had
always
that pressure too.
like there was no, you can't have kids outside of marriage. Anything like that. I was just to believe that I had to be married to have a child. So that was just all that was in my head. I was child focused.
Were you like, sorry to interrupt,
child, yeah.
but I have to know, were you like wait till marriage to have sex kind of parents? Okay.
Yeah. They weren't like that. It was just like, I just knew that that's what I was doing. This will all come around in the coming of gay story because because I think that's something that I put in my head to maybe to avoid sex. There were often times, when I was a teenager and stuff, where there was a lot of that opportunity to do that, and the friends that I hung out with, we'll keep her name anonymous.
We could call her Slutty Samantha.
Slutty Samantha.
Which we're not slut shaming at all. It's just like this girl's nickname.
It was, yeah. And like she called herself that.
It's so funny.
Wherever we went, like there were, she was in a bedroom doing whatever, and then
at every party.
And then the other guy was like trying that with me, and I always was able to get out of it. I just always like found a way, but kind of always wondered why I wanted to or why I avoided that, other than just being like a good
Catholic
girl. Yeah. Like I just didn't desire it. I would just always find an excuse to do it or to not do it. Or to go away or do whatever. So, but I wanted to have a baby. And I knew in my head, I didn't even, again, being gay wasn't even in there. I wanted to have a baby. I knew that it had to be
with a man.
Or I thought that it had to be the only way you can have a baby is with a man, having sex with a man.
That's so sad.
I didn't think about anything else. So I had a boyfriend, I guess you call him a boyfriend, from 16 years old on. Mm-hmm. And he was just like a really good guy and more effeminate for sure, but still like a guy.
Really respectful.
Respectful, didn't ever push me to do anything, didn't try to, he was just super patient. Didn't do anything weird. I had told him that I was waiting for marriage, and he was fine with that. Didn't push it. Didn't do anything.
Used to think that I was so holy for wanting to wait.
I know. And now I think it's not even about that.
No. Oh my God. Like it was just like this very easy excuse not to.
Yeah.
And I can look back at my life, and maybe other people can too, where maybe unlike you, where you're like, oh, I just want this to be like simple, like this is what I'm here for, to have the baby, whatever. Like for me, it was boy crazy cover. Mm-hmm. Like it was a cover to be boy crazy. So
I was never boy crazy. And again, I just thought there was something wrong with me because I was, popular and had a lot of boy attention. but I was never boy crazy. I was kind of like just aloof.
Yeah.
And always that girl.
Did you think something was wrong with you when you first started dating him, or you're talking like years into dating where you weren't wanting to have
all
sex?
the time I thought there was something wrong with me. I just thought I was asexual, maybe.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
I've told you that. Yeah, exactly. Like but we didn't have these
words,
terms.
Yeah.
There were no pronouns. There weren't anything like that when I was in my 20s or my teens, especially not. You were straight, you were gay. There was no in between. Like, there was just no real in between. Then I guess fast forwarding. And then I also knew that I couldn't have a baby. Like I would have had a baby like young. Just I wanted to have a baby really bad, but get married. So I got married to him.
Okay.
When I was 19 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So young.
But this, again, waiting for marriage to have sex, I still didn't even have sex on the wedding night.
Oh my God,
I still
baby.
got out of that.
How does one get out of sex on the wedding night?
I said I had my period, and then of course he's like, well, I don't care, and it was just, I was like, well, I do, and I just felt like great shame about it.
My favorite part
Big
of this
shame.
whole story, I'm sorry that you felt shame. My favorite part of this whole story is how long you kept the period. Do you want to tell everyone? Pro tip, if you're stuck in a heterosexual relationship and you don't want to have sex.
Yeah, it was a long time before we actually did have sex. And it was just sex to have a baby. To me, that's exactly what it was again.
To you, it was his lucky day. He had waited forever.
Yeah.
So gross to think about.
And luckily for me, I got pregnant within one of 2 times.
So you had sex with a man twice.
Yeah.
Your ex-husband twice.
Mm-hmm. And got pregnant. And as soon as I got pregnant, that was then my excuse to never have sex again.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So one time, wedding, first time ever, you're finally like, my period's over. This month-long period.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, and the second time, you're inseminated.
What? With that, well, we don't know. Could have been one of the 2 times. I don't know.
Okay, so it was like pretty close together, and then you're done. You're like, oop.
Yeah.
Got my pass. I'm done.
Exactly. Yeah, got my pass. Have the baby. And then...
Okay, this is really personal, so you don't have to answer, and I can tell the editor to cut it out. But did you feel bad having sex with a man?
I actually don't even remember. I think it was his first time too, so it was so like
awkward,
fast and quick and everything, so it was over before it started. So I think that was probably the saving grace with the whole thing.
Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. Yeah. I don't know, to me it's always felt
I think it always like that dirty feeling or something, that I've always been like a strong-minded woman too. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't like that role of, a man on top of a woman, all that kind of stuff. Like I didn't like that. I didn't like that dynamic or the power dynamic that was created. And I mean, it's way more then than it is now.
Yeah.
Even then, that was in 1995-ish, like that area. It's like men are men, and that's what they take, and women are submissive.
Yeah.
Over time, in the last 20 years, obviously it's changed in a bit, I guess.
There's still terrible guys out there. I guess there's some good ones. I know that I'm happy when I think that my sisters have husbands that treat them well. I feel happier. I'm happy my parents are so happy. But for me, I can't, you're like, oh, it's so fast. I can think back to pretty much any time with a guy and felt like I was just going against myself, really bad. Mm-hmm. And
sure.
And everyone's like, well, how do you not know? I didn't know the difference because I had never been with a girl and I never watched lesbian porn. I didn't know what I was even missing, right? I just knew that something felt weird and I thought everyone must feel uncomfortable during this.
I think that's the same for me. It just felt like that because I remember talking to my mom about it.
Really?
Yeah. And I did say to her, I think there's something wrong with me. And she was like, oh, it's just, whatever. Like, it could be like that with a boy for the first time. It could, all those things. But I never once thought gay. I didn't once
Never
think,
once.
No. I was actually, I didn't really have a ton of, experience with that. I was kind of, grossed out of the idea,
It's okay. We all have internalized homophobia.
Grossed out of the idea of lesbian sex.
Interesting.
I was I could never.
So you knew what it was. You were aware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, there were lesbians, in my life. My mom had been with women, too, remember?
Yeah. I didn't know if you were going to talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't know either, yeah.
Okay.
So I was kind of, grossed out about it.
Gotcha.
Grossed out about, not about two women loving each other, because I had very close people in my life that took care of me, that they were lesbians. So it wasn't about that, it was about the sex. So I was even grossed out about sex. Lesbian sex. I don't know that I could ever put my face there. That kind of thing.
When you thought of straight sex, you still felt grossed out by it.
Yeah.
So you just thought you could be asexual.
That's why. But without knowing the word of asexual, because that word is just even new.
Yeah.
Then you were just a weirdo.
No, that's so sad. If you're listening, you're asexual, you're not a weirdo.
No.
One thing that we've both realized is we've connected because we're both, I guess, sapiosexual. So, obviously, I identify as a lesbian. You identify as a lesbian, but we connect brain and heart and soul way
has to be there
important.
first. Casual sex just isn't
a
real big thing for me at all.
No. And that's why I started Queer Country Club, because I think there's a lot of lesbians out there who have gotten caught up in the culture of it, which is very casual, but that's not what they want.
Yeah.
And they feel a pressure, or they refuse to participate in it. There's no way to really meet people, because that's what regular dating apps are like.
Yeah.
We'll,
for sure.
We'll get into an episode about that another time. Our dating app experiences. Oh, it's terrible. It's a premier lesbian dating platform that I created whenever I realized it was going to be really hard for me to meet someone on traditional dating apps, because I connect way deeper than just swiping left or right on someone's face. And I wanted to have real connections be made. And I realized I wasn't alone in this. I got a lot of DMs from you guys on Instagram and TikTok. And it was can you help match me with one of your followers? And I'd get 10 of those a day. And so eventually I was okay, I can put something together. It's time. I had the vision for the dating platform. So yeah, if you're interested in meeting extraordinary, very smart, radiant queer women from around the world, DM me on Instagram. DM me, let's see, what keyword shall it be today? DM me, match me, and I'll see what I can do to help you. Okay, back to the story. So, I'm a beautiful girlfriend. Your eyes look so pretty today.
Thank you.
You're all glowy.
Where were we at?
Okay, so we were at the point where...
had the baby.
Well, you had sex twice, literally, in your whole life with a man. Yeah. Same man. And then you get pregnant, and then you have the excuse of...
Yeah, that I'm pregnant, and so I just...
most
last,
women want to, have sex all the time when they're pregnant.
Yeah, no, it was the perfect excuse, for sure. Yeah. And then having the baby, then that was the perfect excuse. I was I'm a new mom. I'm, in the twilight zone. I just have this baby and not sleeping and not all that, so...
Well, during this whole time, during... was this a good marriage? Was this a healthy marriage?
Yeah, totally. He was so kind and so nice, and we loved each other, I would say, for sure. Yeah. There were never, we were best friends, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, at what point do you realize you're gay? Because you're not having gay feelings. You're not having gay fantasies.
Yeah.
You're, you sound kind of boring. I'm sorry, babe. You sound like
nothing. This is like the weirdest coming out story because it doesn't make sense to anybody.
I love it though. It's authentic. That's what it is.
It's so weird. How did I come out? I was literally holding he was about 2-month-old baby on the couch, and it just was like, snap, you're gay.
What?
It just came into my head that I was a lesbian, and I didn't even question it. It was just like a knowing, like a God knowing, like that, like the word that just comes into your head where you know and you trust.
Like, were you wondering, like, why don't I want to have sex? Like, were you asking questions?
Never. I was just okay not having sex.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Which is why I thought there was something wrong with me, because I'm like, people seem to like this thing. And I'm not liking it, and I'm not wanting it. And I've got a perfectly, really good looking husband.
You got perfectly good looking things too.
Yeah. I've got this life that like is, a cute little life. We're like a young, good looking couple. Why aren't I wanting to have sex? All that stuff. But I just thought that I wasn't a sexual person.
Which is valid, but
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you just get this knowing. What do? You got a baby in your hands.
It was funny. It was just like another day. I was like, okay, how's this going to look? Now knowing, because I am just newly married, newborn baby. How am I going to do this? But I've always been someone who, like, I'm headstrong, I'm a little stubborn, all that stuff. I'm a strong, like, confident woman, and I was always a strong, confident girl, too. So I was always, I just always knew that I could do anything that I wanted and be, like, good at it and, like, have that life and all that stuff. So when I realized I was a lesbian, I was just like, okay, I'm a lesbian. And now I'm going to embrace that, however that looks. And I knew that it was going to break up my family. And I knew it was going to just, like, destroy my dad and the, extended family, everything. Because you just can't be gay in this family. Mm-hmm. But I was okay with it.
And there's no crush on a girl.
No.
There's no neighbor you have a little crush. Like, what
nothing.
the heck?
And I mean, going back and once you realize that, and when years go on, you're like, oh my God, that's why, I, would bring my teacher gifts and like little drawings and like,
so you
made
did it
my
as
teacher
a kid.
Feel really special.
Like the female teachers meant a lot
exactly.
to you.
Yeah.
Wait, so like you like me were into the older women?
Oh yeah, all my life. For sure. Even we'll talk about relationships after, but
that's so crazy.
Yeah. So as soon as I knew that I was a lesbian, I was like calculating how I was gonna do this, right? What I was gonna do. It was never a question of living in that life.
Because you never fake it. Like, you're too powerful. Like, you can go make your own money.
Yeah, I wasn't being supported by him. I wasn't doing anything. I was, I think, at that time I was like I had every reason to just like not blow up this whole life, but it was just no question of whether or not I was going to.
That's amazing.
I think it took about, really quickly. I told my mom, and she was like, "Oh, I knew that."
What?
And then I was like, "What? Why didn't you tell me?" Like all those times that I was
like wondering,
confused, or is there something wrong with me? And she just said, "You have to figure that out on your own." And then when I think I told my dad, even before I told my husband. Yeah, because I had to. I think that I was like systematically like seeing how this was gonna, like, how was I dismantling this life and all that stuff before I could come to him and be like, okay, this is
like official
what we're doing. And I think my dad, his opinion meant a lot. Everything. I knew that he would be hurt the most out of everybody. So I told him, and he was actually really good. He just said, I love you anyways, but let's not talk about this. So it was like unspoken.
You didn't want to know.
It's there. We know you're that, but let's not talk about it.
Dang.
Yeah. Just like put it away. And I think it took about another month till I told my husband.
Were you nervous?
Yeah.
what did you think his reaction would be?
I knew because he wasn't an angry. He was a very calm, mild-mannered guy anyways, and like very sweet and respectful. I knew it wasn't going to be anger.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. He was sad.
Yeah.
He was hurt because he was living his perfect life.
Yeah.
That is the life we had was his perfect life. Everything was, we lived in a nice house. He owned his own company. I was doing what I was doing to be in my profession, and we had this brand new baby. So, I mean, he was really hurt. It was very hard. It was about like 4 to 6 months of really, really tough conversations. But he was so great. He always said, like, I support this because I know that you can't control it, and it's like as long as it wasn't another man.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like, he was so supportive. We've been friends ever since. There's never been a bad moment. We co-parented, and he's been amazing. He remarried, and I'm really close with his wife, and they have 2 little daughters that are like family to me.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I know that it means a lot when you come out and you're stuck with a guy, and it's like, poor guy. You feel so bad because that's exactly what I went through.
Yeah.
And then, like you just said, it was his dream life. Yeah. Sorry, let's get comfy because I feel like my head's on so many pillows. It was his dream life, and in a moment, I ruined it.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
I felt terrible.
Because we ruin all these other people's lives, and it feels selfish.
It felt so selfish.
Yeah, and you have all the reasons to stay. It's a good life.
Yeah.
All that stuff, but I always like to be, live authentically.
Yeah. And I actually felt really guilty for pretty much ruining his life for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That finally kind of went away in the last, year, I think. Mm-hmm. It's been, 3 years, I think? Yeah. So, okay, so you come out, he knows, you co-parent, and you go build a career and don't need a man at all.
That's right.
That's
never
amazing.
Needed a man.
That's so good. Oh my God. And then throughout your life, you pretty much were the man. You're like, I am the man.
Okay.
No.
I never felt like that, but I didn't ever think that men are, it just wasn't in my head that men are someone to I'm working to be have to be equal to a man. I just always knew that I could do that anyways. I was never trying to compete with, trying to get there. I never had to say I'm the man because I was a woman who was powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love that. And then everyone's going to say, what do you do? And you can't say, but what can you, is there anything about what you do that you can share? It's pretty badass. That's all.
No. Yeah. I have a few companies, but what I'm focused on right now is a tech company that...
That's it. You don't have to share more.
Yeah.
It's okay.
A tech company.
Just a few little companies.
Right?
They're very little. They're so little. I'm so proud of you.
That's my big focus. I have little focus and big focus.
And you've built very big things, and I'm really proud.
Thank you.
And I'm really excited that I get to know you while you're in that building of the next big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's really cool. And I'm excited that I'm in the building of, it's been really cool to have a supportive partner as I launch something.
Yeah,
completely
I love
new.
that. We are always masterminding with each other about business, and I've been in business for I think my very first business was 20 something years ago, so I've been in business that long, but I learned so much from you.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
I do.
It's funny because my clients can be in their 50s, but I wasn't expecting you to say that. That's so sweet.
Yeah, it's true. I do.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
Okay.
Because you're really good at what you do, and you're really good in this, like, technological age, which is what I'm not good at, which is why I'm not on social media, which is why I'm not doing all these things. I mean, that's a whole other thing, but even though I'm in the tech business,
you're not in the social.
No, that's the part I can't stand about this generation, but I really, really love that you know about it.
Yeah.
And you can do that.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
So I love that you're in business. I think that's one of the things that drew me to you.
Thank you.
And you're a really, really good businesswoman.
Okay. Thank you.
It's true.
Just make me blush. Okay. But I do think that it's important that when you get together with someone that your values align. Mm-hmm. And I think for us, we don't see business as like we could be talking right now, like for anyone listening, we could be talking about reading. It doesn't have to be business. We could be talking about like traveling. It doesn't have to be business. But I think when you're kind of obsessed with something the way we are, it's not about money. It's about like, it's like you see life as a game and you're like trying to give your clients the best experience, trying to build the best product, trying to do all these things. And like, if I had a partner who didn't understand that entrepreneurial, like, drive and like weird obsession that I have, like it'd be impossible to vibe.
No, for sure. You have to know there's that priority when you're self-employed. There's work is a priority. There's
like it's my child.
There's no paycheck unless you're working.
Yeah.
And it's just you have to understand that. There's no day offs. There's no sick days. There's nothing.
I'm getting better at balance.
You are so good.
You're like, I want you to be more balanced.
Yeah, because I was the same as you.
Really?
18-hour days.
Oh my God.
But I'm older. But I was you at that age. So I get it. And when you tell me that you have to do that, I get that. And I respect that because you should be doing.
That's when I've been building new things.
You should be doing that. You're of the age of,
I got it down to 2 hours a day, and then I built something else.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, and you have that brain. It's the same as mine, that even when we do slow down, we'll find something else that's like a really good idea to then build up again.
I think as soon as I retire, I want to like just create music and just create music.
I think we both see opportunity and we see it as missed opportunity if we don't do something with it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have regrets, and I know you don't.
No.
So.
Oh my God.
So.
Okay, I have to go back to your coming out story. So you're out, you're living your best life now. What does that look like? You have like to co-parents and like you just go start living your life as a lesbian. You start dating women.
Yeah.
Even though you had no sexual urge or even desire to kiss a woman.
Right. Yeah. So at that time, the city that I lived in had, we have gay bars, lesbian bars, and all that stuff. And I'm trying to think of how my first like interaction with a woman was. It was
you're gonna share.
It was an older.
Oh, she's older. My first interaction was with an older woman too.
Yeah.
That's how this podcast got a lot of follows.
Yeah. Older woman, and I don't think that I told her that I hadn't been with a woman. I pretty much was like, oh yeah, no, I do this all the time.
Of course you would.
I didn't want this whole like it to be like this is your first time.
Oh my gosh, you never want to be bad at anything.
That's right.
It's the one time your ego shows, baby.
Totally.
It's like the only time. I'm like, oh, she does have an ego.
I like to be good at everything. It's true.
Because you're like very oneness, wholeness, spiritual, like peaceful. And then there's these little peaks.
Yeah, no, but I'll kick your ass. You want to play that? I'll win.
Yes. No. I love it.
So then my very first time with a woman, then I knew. As soon as I had sex with a woman, I was like, okay, this is why you thought there was something wrong with you, because you weren't having this.
Yeah.
And that was just the world opened up for me then.
Were you nervous to have sex with a woman?
I don't remember being nervous. And I think, like, it was so natural to me.
So it wasn't like, I remember you mentioning internalized homophobia, being like, I could never put my face there.
Yeah, there was no question. I wanted my face there.
I love it. I want my face there. You're not, kill it. You're
all flustered now.
Your child, your offspring cannot listen to this episode.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's true.
My God. My goodness gracious. Okay, so I'm glad that you came out because you're definitely a big fat lesbian.
Yeah. Yeah. And then went on to learn that you can have children with women.
Oh my God. I love that for you.
Who knew? There were other ways to have children.
So, I mean, you don't have to give details, but did you have more children?
With a woman, yes.
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
It was very sweet of you. I really appreciate it. I know you're private, and it means a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. I sometimes think I want to have children, and if I do decide that, I think you'd be the ultimate co-parent, mother, all the things.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think one of the first things I felt when I met you, which was crazy, and I even said it on TikTok, I was like, I would hand you a baby because you're just so nurturing and your intentions for everyone on the planet are just so pure. So
thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so last question.
Okay.
People want to know, obviously they want to know if you had kids. We answered that. Will we have kids? What I guess share what you always tell me.
Yeah, I mean, you've said that from day one. You asked if I was open to it. I said that I have kids, and it honestly wasn't in my, like, I just thought that I would never have kids again. Like, because I was going to have grandchildren now eventually.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. But knowing you and loving you and everything, like, I think, well, we go back to that story, like, I always had kids because I wanted kids. It was about the child, it was about the baby, it was about having them be siblings, it was all like that kind of thing. Now if I did, it would be about loving you and the creation that we have together. And being able to have that bond with you of, like, a little baby laying right here between us doing whatever, like, ruining our day.
My God, you always have to throw the ruining our day part. Just like subtle, subliminal messaging.
Just so you know, it ruins your day.
Oh my God. So I've done a lot of self-reflection, and, like, I've always said I wanted to be a mom, like, since I was little. And then I came out as a lesbian, and I thought it would be impossible. And then I got into a relationship where I think the only way I thought I was ever going to have, like, a true commitment was
having a baby.
Yeah, having a baby. And then I met you, and I was still like, oh my God, I want to have a baby right now. And now I, like, enjoy being your little baby.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm thinking about freezing my eggs, and then if we decide to have a baby later, we can always do that. Although we may not do that in America, because who knows, with all the crazy shit going on in politics right now.
Yeah.
We might have to go to, like, Spain or something to freeze the eggs.
So I think the answer to that question is that that's up to you. I've always been of the mindset of I would never ever tell a woman she can't have a baby if she wants to have a baby. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I wouldn't want to be with someone who wants one and I say no.
Yeah,
because I think that's terrible. So this is a decision that you have to make for yourself, and I'm just here to support it, whichever way it goes.
You're so sweet. You're, like, #1 fan in life. It's just so sweet. And I think also another thing that holds me back that I don't really talk a lot about is just the mystery health issues. And, like, it makes me sad because I know that if I was healthy, I'd be way more like gung-ho.
Yeah.
But I would never want to have a baby and then it'd be really hard for me, like, to take care of a baby, and then you're already older, so I don't want to add that burden to you. And, like, I think that's the thing that actually holds me back most, because I don't even have energy for myself all the time.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so I get worried about that.
Yeah.
And I know we could have a nanny, but, like, I wouldn't want a nanny to, like, raise my baby.
Yeah.
That makes me cry. I just want to figure it out. Like, I just want to get completely better. Like, I'll have months where I feel really good and then not. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I think if I felt energized all the time, that wouldn't be an issue. But yeah. And I love you.
I love you.
Thank you for being supportive of everything.
Of course.
Because when we met, I was like, I'm having a baby. And you're like, okay, we're having a baby. So sweet.
Yeah.
You always say whatever you want. Like, I don't even know what I did to deserve. Yeah. I almost feel bad sometimes because I feel like you're so whatever I want about everything. It doesn't matter what it is.
That's just how I am, though.
But yet you're
I'm
so like a boss.
Complicated.
Except when it comes to me, you're like, I don't know.
That's right. Because you deserve that.
You deserve that too.
This is the first, I mean, we talked about this before too. We can get into this now, or you could get into another thing. This is the first time in my life that I've had the space, whether it be emotionally or physically or anything. Like, my kids are grown, just grown, like just enough to be, you know, out of the house and on their own, to where I can just make everything be about the person that I'm with, and to give you what you want.
When I say I feel like I'm like a celebrity to you or something. Like, I wake up with my little love notes and like, you're just so sweet. Like, I'll be like, oh, my head hurts, and you just instantly start rubbing my head. Like, it's just, and I try to do those same things back, and you're like, no, I'm good, baby.
I'm a giver. I'm not a taker.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You're just,
it's the first time that I've been able to do that, so it's nice. It's been nice for me too.
I think we should talk about that. You guys let us know, drop a DM, let me know, like, if you're around my girlfriend's age, like 40s, 50s, like, do you feel like you've always lived your life with other priorities and now you're ready to really date for you? Because I think it is a different stage.
Raising children, careers, building businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's a choice, though. I know that. Like, you know, being... like, you can choose. I know that now, rather than what I knew then was that I tried to balance everything.
Yeah.
And I just had to choose all the things that were a priority. And obviously, as you're going in your career and as you're going in your family life, your children have to be a priority.
Yeah.
There's nobody above your children. Obviously, your work has to be a priority so that you can feed your children. So for me, love was
low on the totem pole.
Last on the list. I was not looking for it, and I was fine without it.
Your eyelashes are so pretty.
Thank you.
I never realized how full they are without any mascara. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Am I making you shy?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad that you're at the stage of life where you can make
just
our relationship.
Focus on you.
Yeah, focus on me.
You're glad I'm at the stage of where it's all just you.
I feel very, very, like, just covered in every possible love language.
Good, me too.
Oh, I'm glad.
Mm-hmm. You're a perfect girlfriend.
Oh my God.
You are.
Okay, thank you. If you guys enjoyed this episode and you enjoy our morning voice talks, go ahead and leave me a DM with what you want us to cover next. And if you are in my girlfriend's age and stage of a life, and you're ready to make dating about you, we definitely have an age gap lesbian community that's thriving inside of the Queer Country Club, and I would love to help match you. Of course, I always say that with a little disclaimer. I want you to be in the legal age of your country and all that jargon that, you know, you'll see on the disclaimer of the website. But we do love age gap relationships around here. And I think it's actually really common for lesbians. Like, I'm seeing it all the time. Mm-hmm. I think girls mature. Like, your brain's fully developed at, like, 25 to 28 or something like that. And then, like, it's almost, like, all the same. Whereas men never mature.
Yeah.
Like, they're just, like, perpetually boys.
Yeah.
That's just my very biased lesbian opinion. Anyway, if you're interested in a conscious partnership with someone who's really ready to settle down with one wife for life, DM me, match me on Instagram, or visit the link in the show notes, because I'd love to have you inside my lesbian dating platform, the Queer Country Club. Okay, baby, do you want to go to the pool?
Let's go.
I want to actually do lunges and, like, race you doing lunges.
I'll win for sure.
You will? Wait. My legs are longer than yours. You're
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, bye, guys. As queer women, that's women with an X, because of course we are inclusive here. As I was saying, as queer women, we haven't always been lifted up or celebrated. We have often felt left out and put down in places that historically haven't welcomed us. In fact, we have been conditioned by society to be grateful for mere tolerance. My resilient LGBTQ+IA community, I am talking to you. I'll bet you've recognized the spark that God put in your heart. Your unique calling to impact the world in only a way that you can. A business idea, a brand to build, a coaching program to start, the art to create, the song to sing, the book to write, that relationship you long to build. But that little light inside your soul has often been blown out by the people around you, leaving you conditioned to play small and not step into your full potential. You are not alone, and it's never too late to truly live your most authentic dream life. I would know. I came out late in life, nearly 30, a couple years ago, after being bullied for months inside a country club. Right outside of my weights class, I was assaulted by a bigoted woman who couldn't stand my queerness. She physically pushed me, so I had a meeting with management. I told them I didn't feel safe. I brought forth evidence, and guess what? They did nothing. Sadly, this is normal. But in order to create change, we have to be brave enough to be the change ourselves. So I did a thing. I started my own virtual country club for queer women. A safe place for us to create meaningful connections and grow. So if you're looking for a love connection, networking opportunities, or coaching to live your best freedom life, you want to apply to be a part of our incredible community of purpose-driven, passionate queer women. Join Queer Women Rising, the online queer country club for growth-minded women ready to level up in life and love. To apply, DM me the word rising on Instagram at Sophia Spallino, or chat me the word rising on sophiaspallino.com. Now, beyond hosting Queer Women Rising, I am a personal brand coach and social media strategist. If you give me a moment to tell you about what I do, I can share how I can help you. Just like I've helped many clients before get famous online and make more money. If you're an exhausted coach or service provider, ready to scale your business for real, or you're just getting started building your dream brand from scratch, and if you're ready to build your own profitable personal brand, I can show you how in 6 months or less. But why should you take my word for it? Well, I've spent over 10 years in the social media marketing industry, amassing over 400,000 followers across platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as hosting a top charting podcast, building a successful service provider business, and coaching powerful women to build purpose-driven, profitable personal brands. Yeah, I have the social media and sales process strategies that can help you finally make the money you deserve. Because I want to help you build your dream business that gives you time, freedom, and makes real money. So for a limited time, I'm giving away your first steps to go from less than 5K months and advance to 10 to 20K months. Grab my newly revamped Profitable Personal Brand Blueprint, my proven framework to build yourself a personal brand that motivates, inspires, and sells so that your business can thrive the way it should. Just go to the link in the show notes. Whether you're a novice at creating or you're feeling stuck, hitting a plateau in your business that once had consistent revenue, and need guidance, support, and coaching to get to your next level, I invite you to book a strategy call to speak with either me or my team to see if we'd be the right fit to work with each other inside of the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Mind you, I am extremely selective, and this coaching program is not for everyone, and I'm not afraid to say it. I am only taking on serious, purpose-driven, and committed queer women and allies inside of my community. If that's you, book your free strategy call. The link is in the show notes. And if you feel yourself come alive and love listening to Queer Women Rising, please leave me a 5-star rating with a kind review wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to share the show with a powerful woman you know. And remember, when you're called to do something greater in life, love, or business, you will be uncomfortable until you move. So get up and go get what you want. Let's rise. Let's rise.